Okay. Oh, I think we're live. Yes, we're live already. All right, folks, good morning. Chumash and Rashi, the Torah portion. We are coming to tomorrow will be the end of the second book of Shmois of Deuteronomy. Today, we sixth reading. Levi, you let people in, please. It's very short. Where were we yesterday? Shut the door. Thank you. Where were we yesterday? Rosh Chodesh Nisan, the first day of the month of Nisan, the day of inauguration of the Kohen Gadol, the Kohen, the priest, the high priest, right? The Mishkan was inaugurated. Now we continue. Verse 17. And it was on the first day of the first month of the year. What's the first month of the year? Is Nisan. First day of the year is Rosh Hashanah, first of Tishrei. But months is Nisan. I don't know if it makes sense. I don't think it makes sense, but it is what it is. Usually the first would be the first for everything. First for this, first for that. But we Jews are like that, There's always a new first, a new beginning. Exactly. So the first of Nisan, Shana Sheni, Vishana Sheni, it's in the second year, right? Because they went out in the month of Nisan. The first day of the month. So it's Rosh Chodesh Nisan. Hukam HaMishkan. What does it mean, Hukam HaMishkan? The Mishkan was set up. Now, what's important over here, because we learned this already 2 days ago in Rashi, right? Rashi quoted this. Hukam means it was set up by itself, right? Yesterday, it says Takim. Why does it say Takim? Takim means, what does Takim mean? What's the difference between the word Hukam and Takim? I don't expect you to know this. No, it means to set up. The word set up. One means you shall set up. Yesterday we learned that it was a command for Moshe that he had to set up, right? Today it says Hukam, that it was set up. What does it mean it was set up? So one is a command, and one is that it was set up, meaning that it was done. It should have been by Moshe. It was his command. So what do you mean? So we learned that 2 days ago. How did he do it? It was too heavy for one person to do, but the command was for one person to do. So how did he do it? So God says to him, and he comes to him, he says, hey, God, it's too much. Okay, so you just do your part, and I will do my part, and miraculously it will be put up, right? So you just push it, and it will go up on its own. Because hukam means it was done, not that he did it or you did it, right? It was done, right? So this is meaning done by itself. That's the understanding, right? But this is what we learned earlier, and that's what Rashi doesn't explain it over here. Is that clear? Yes. Verse 18. You're using the Menachem Hillel, you're using the booklet? Yeah. Okay. So, okay. Should have put it up over here, but next time. Shmois chapter 40, verse 18. Yakam Moshe is a Mishkan, and Moshe, now this is V'yakam, means he did it. The Yud in front makes he. Moshe, set up the Mishkan, v'yiten is Adonav, and he placed its sockets, v'yasem is Karashav, and he placed the planks, v'yiten is Bricha, and he put the Brichav are the bars, right, that brought, that secured the planks. Yakam is Amudav, and he set up its pillars. So actually now it really fits in well because of the previous verse. Again, remember, we learned this 2 days ago. Hukam is passive. This verse is not passive. It's active. It's active. But how do you have passive and then active? Because in the passive is God. He's telling him, you do it, right? And now he's doing it. The active part. But in the end, it's going to be God who's going to put it up, right? The Yifres is Ayel, and he spread out the tent over the Mishkan. You have it there? Chapter 40. Here, give me the book. Give me. Chapter 40, verse 19 now. And now he spread over the Ayel, over the tent, ala Mishkan, over the Mishkan. The Yosem is a Michse Ayel, and he placed there the coverings of the tent, olav upon it, milamaila from above. As Hashem had commanded Moshe. Rashi, v'yifres Esa'el, and he spread the tent. Hein yiris ha'izim. These are the curtains of goat hair that we learned earlier. V'yikach, and he took. V'yiten, and he placed. Esa'edus, right now that he made the home. Remember, Bezalel is the one who told him first, put up the home, and then then you're putting in the furnishings. Now he's putting the furnishings. V'yikach, and he took. V'yiten, and he places edus, the testimony el ha'arein. He placed the testimony, right? And Rashi will explain what that means. Rashi will explain el, because that's a funny term. Because till now, the term we've had, arein ha'edus, the ark of testimony. But now it's not saying that. It says testimony he placed. So obviously that's a question. What does that mean? Right? That's not a term that we've used before. Well, we'll see in a moment. So he placed the testimony el ha'arein to the ark. V'yosem is abadim, and he placed the poles, right? The bottom of the poles, al ha'arein, on the ark. V'yiten kapeiris, and he placed the cover al ha'arein upon the cover, milamaila from above. Rashi is edus haluches, means the tablets. Right, that's the testimony. In other words, you put the tablets into the ark.
Is that a common term that we should use, that I can use?
What is that? I don't follow what your question is.
Oh, they put the testimony in the ark.
Well, testimony, again, what does it mean? What does it mean to put a testimony? The tablets are the testimony, right? Those are the testimony, right? What's the testimony? It's the 10 Commandments. It's God's testimony, if you will. God's testimony, it's God's presence. Through that, that in the ark, right, is what brings the Shekhinah, God's presence, into the Ark of the Covenant upon the Jewish people, right? So that's how it all ties in.
Tablets would be the proper.
Tablets are luches. So it doesn't say luches. He says he placed something. He's placed a testimony, right? What does that refer to? Because it would have been. No, I wouldn't say it would have been the simple way to explain it or to state it would have been Vayitin aluches, and he placed the tablets. But it doesn't say that. It says a testimony because the tablets are a testimony. Right?
Interesting.
Right? They are a testimony because they're the 10 Commandments representing God's will. They're a testimony because they represent, or they are the Shekhinah, the divine presence that rests in the ark, right? That is then brings in the Holy of Holies, it brings God's presence there, which is a testimony to God, right? And that it's a testimony of the Jewish people because God's presence dwells amongst the Jewish people. Okay? Yahweh es ha'arein, and he brought the arein el hamishkan to the Mishkan. Yasim es apareches. It's interesting. So So it's interesting. I'm curious why there isn't a, like, why is he put in the tablets into the ark, not in the Holy of Holies, outside of it, because this verse now says V'yove, and he came, and he put the Aron into the Mishkan, right? So it means when he put the tablets, it was outside. I'm curious why he did that and why Rashi doesn't. That sounds to me like a question. Why wouldn't you put it while it's in the Holy of Holies, right? Like, place the Aron there, put the tablets in, but doesn't say that. So
Wasn't the screen that closed off the Holy of Holies?
yes,
So
but
he's saying already, he's saying, so he brought the Ark into the Mishkan, he placed the screening, dividing curtain.
yeah, but the verse before says he put the tablets in. So he put the tablets in before. I guess it's not, maybe it's not a question, but whatever. I'm just pointing out that the tablets, I would have thought, that's what I would have thought, but what am I? Right? I would have thought that he's placing the tablets while the ark is in the Holy of Holies, but he didn't. That's my point. That's all. Whether it's a question or a valid question, not a valid question. I'm just pointing out to the fact, right? Right.
They moved it into it.
And moved it into it. Maybe, the simple answer is because you place it into the Holy of Holies complete. So therefore you put the tablets in first, just like you made the ark complete. You didn't make it in the Holy of Holies, you made it complete and then brought it in. So what is the completion? Is that the edus are there, that the testimony is there, and therefore you place it outside and then brought it in. Now we have our answer.
So the completed thing was
The completed thing has to have the testimony in there, the luches, the tablets. Yeah, that we already said. That was in the previous verse said. Yeah. Okay. See, when we talk it out, sometimes we get right. We get the answers. Okay, so he brought the ark into the Mishkan, and then he placed after that the screen, right? In others, it wasn't Holy of Holies yet. He had to, because he only placed the screen afterwards, which is interesting. Also, why didn't he place it first?
Does that need to be in there?
Maybe. Oh, that's a good point. Then he would have been in the Holy of Holies. Then he'd be in the Holy of Holies. This way, he wasn't Holy of Holies yet until he placed it. But very good. Maybe that makes sense. All right. So he placed the pareiches, a masach that is a dividing curtain. The yasech is Aaron. Aaron ha'edus kashetzi Hashem es Moshe. And Yosef al Aaron ha'edus, and so here it translates. He formed a protective covering.
Why did the screen puts it on?
The curtain was dividing between the holies and the Holy of Holies.
It was on, outside the Holy of Holies, the screen.
Well, I mean, there's the inside of it and there's the outside of it. There's the inside of the curtain.
For now, it's the outside, then they bring it inside.
Well, I mean, now he's placing it, and he made a covering over the Arna Edis, a covering of the Ark of Testimony, as Hashem commanded Moshe. I don't know what that means. I mean, there's a protective covering that was used when they traveled. I don't know if that's what it means, right? Remember, every artifact had a covering that because they were carried, they were not put into the wagons to travel. They were carried by hand by the Levites, the Levim, right? So I don't know if that's what it means. That's what it sounds like to me, the covering that would be. But that protective covering, why is it now mentioned? Like here, after, I don't know. Okay. The Eaton is a shulchan. Then he placed the shulchan, the table. Again, remember, I pointed this out a few times. The shulchan, out of the three things that is in the holies, is mentioned first, right? Which, to me, I don't understand why it would be first. Huh?
There's a significance in mentioning it first all the time.
No, it's not always first. It's usually first. So I don't know what if there's I mean, obviously there's got to be a significance. I'm just not certain. And okay, and obviously it's not a question that Rashi has, or maybe because I don't recall that he ever addressed it. Right, out of the three things, the menorah, the mizbeach hazav, the golden altar, right, and the shulchan, the table that had the lechem apanim, the showbread. Right, so then he placed the shulchan ba'ayal mayeh al yerech mishkan tzafayna michutz hapareches. So maybe the answer is over here is because it's on the northern side of the mishkan, outside of the dividing curtain. Maybe that's our answer. It's on the north side. Why that's an answer, I don't know. I mean, the only thing I can tell you about the north side is what's called the open side, the unfinished side. And it says Mashiach comes from the north because the world is incomplete. And what's incomplete is the north, right? The northerly wind, right?
I'm in the north right now.
And we're in the north, yeah, and we're in the north. So, anyways, I don't know. That's my own.
We're talking about the north of Israel.
Huh?
Talking about the north of.
No, we're talking the north of Mishkan, the Mishkan.
Yeah.
Right, we're not, no, it's the idea of the north. It's not, it's the idea of the north, right? The north side. Anyways, okay, let's see. Okay, Rashi in 22. Huh? Rashi in 22, yeah? Al Yerech HaMishkan Tzafayna, on the north side of the Mishkan, the Chetzi HaTzafayni Shel Rechav HaBayis, this is the northern half of the width of the sanctuary. Okay, tomorrow we're finishing. You have to remind me for next year, when we get to Parshas Truma, to make pictures of everything,
Yeah.
so then you can just have the pictures ready to show what it is, okay? The north side is when you look at the picture, it's on the bottom part. The south side is actually shows you on top. And the picture, turn around the picture any way you want, right? North, we usually think up, right? And the north side is where the slaughtering and the skinning of the animal and all that stuff was done. And things were brought from the north side to the south, towards the south side, where the outer altar was.
The Israelites were there.
Huh?
And you Israelites were in the northern part.
No, they can't be there. They're on the eastern part. They're on the eastern part. The entry part is the eastern part, right? Okay. Next Rashi. Yerech side. Kitargumoi, as Unkelis translates, tzida side. Ki yareya chazeh shel b'tzida shel adam, like the thigh which is on one person's side. Okay, don't exactly understand why we didn't know this before. This word is not a new word that Rashi had to explain to us. V'yarech alav erech lechem lifnei Hashem. And he set upon an arrangement of bread before God, Keshetziva Hashem es Moshe, as Hashem commanded Moshe. Yasem is a menorah ba'ayal ma'id, and also placed the menorah, right, the candelabra, in the tent of meeting, Neichach HaShulchan, which is juxtaposed, opposite, right, on the same latitude as the Shulchan, Al Yerech Mishkan Negba, but on the south side, right? Which would be in the picture. Hold on, let's get a picture here. Hi. Here. See, this is the south side. That's the north side. It's not in your. It's a different chumash. Won't help you, right? So so you have inside here would be the menorah on the south side. On the north side,
Table.
the table, right? Now I lost my place, and now I found it. All right. Yasim, so we did the menorah, right and south. The Yala Neira is Lifnei Hashem, and he kindled the lamps before Hashem, Kasher Tziva Hashem is Moshe, as Hashem commanded Moshe. Yasim is a Mizbach Hazav, and then he placed. Well, I don't understand what it means here. Who kindled? So it sounds like Moshe is doing this, right? But he must have. Remember on the 8th day, we learned this a couple of days ago, that he did in the morning everything. So this is the morning service, and he's doing it. Even though it's inauguration day and Aaron took over, right? But in the morning he did. So this is what he's doing in the morning. And then after that, Aaron's taking over. So that's what it sounds like over here.
Rabbi, I think there's a note here that says Ramban explains that this is clearly referring to Moshe. For he carried out the entire service of the dwelling during the 7 days of the inauguration and also the 8th day.
Yeah. I mean, we learned that already in Rashi. We learned that in Rashi a couple of days ago. Yeah, I'm just pointing out because it's speaking about, this is speaking that Moshe did this, right? And we're talking about this inaugural day. So, and we learned already that he did in the morning, right? That he did part of the inauguration, right? Okay, let's go further. The Yasim is a Mizbech Hazav, then he placed the golden altar in the tent of meeting, Lifnei HaParechas, before the dividing curtain, Yaktir Allah V'Kteris, and he made incense. Yaktir, he smoked up or incense, Allah of Keteris, incense, samim that are actually samim is the incense. Keteris is like the that it was smoked up. Kasher Tziva Hashem is Moshe, as Hashem commanded Moshe. Rashi, in the last verse for today, 27. Yaktir Allah of Keteris, and he caused incense spices. Actually, samim would be spices, like sam achayim means a spice of life. Sam amavis means a spice of death, meaning something lethal, right? So shachris v'arvis, morning and evening. As it says each morning when he prepares the lamps, when Aaron kindles. Now that's what he did.
He's showing them how to do it.
Yeah, even though he did it for 7 days, but this is inauguration day, and he's doing. Let's see if we have anything here from the Rebbe on this. Okay, you ready? Ooh. So the verse says over here that there are 4 things that Moshe did. He made the lechem apanim on the shulchan. He placed it. He lit the menorah. He did the keteras on the mizbeach hazav, the incense, and then he brought an oila offering and a mincha on the mizbeach ha'oila. So if you go from the beginning, so the beginning, right, verse 22, it says that he placed the shulchan and he put on a bread, verse 23, right? As God commanded. Is that clear? And then he did the menorah and lit the menorah as God commanded. Then it says he did the altar, the golden altar. He brought keteris, the incense, as God commanded. But earlier in the actual command, which is in verse 4, previously in verse 4, he's only commanded for the table and the menorah, but not the what you call it? Excuse me, not the incense, and it'll be tomorrow's verses where that he brought an offering on the outer altar. So there doesn't say a command. Is that somewhat clear what I just said? Huh? So why is there only a command then? Why was only previously a command only for, again, the table and the bread on the table and the lighting of the menorah? You look back, go to verse 4 from yesterday. It says, Vehevesa, and you shall bring the table and put on it bread, and you should bring the menorah and light it up. And look what it says next. And then it says you should place the altar, the golden altar, before the on the same latitude as the R, right? But it doesn't say you should do anything. It doesn't command them to bring incense. You see the verse? Verse number 5? Go back. It just place it. Doesn't say to do anything. There's no command. You see, go look verse 4 and 5. Yeah, is that clear? No. I mean, 6 is continuing, but it's.
How is this not a command? It says you shall put the golden incense altar in front of the ark.
Huh?
How is that not a command? It says you shall put the golden incense altar in front of the.
Yeah, but just place it. It doesn't say to do a service on it. Doesn't say to bring incense on it.
No, it just
But
says-
it said to bring the bread on it. It says set it up, and then it says by the light the candles, light the menorah. That it said clearly to do that avodah, but it doesn't say for this, and yet he did it over here. That's the question. Is that clear,
Yeah.
David? Is that clear?
Yes.
David's
Yep.
twins,
Oh, 2 days.
twins for different mothers.
David beside me, however, no matter where I go.
King
there's
David, Tillim is always at your side. and David too, of course. Okay. So there's something unique about the 2 things that he was commanded, right? Placing the showbread and lighting the menorah. Because these 2 avodas, these 3 services, were not done at their proper time, at the regular time. Remember, we're talking about the 8th day, and this is Moshe doing it, right? The regular time to do the lechem apanim is once a week only, and that's on Shabbos. Actually, it's baked before Shabbos and it's placed on Shabbos. Today wasn't Shabbos, right? It wasn't Shabbos, so it was not its a regular time. So therefore, he needed a specific command to do it. right? Because it wasn't in its proper time, right? And because when was the first? When was this day Rosh Chodesh? Was actually the first day of the week. It was the first day of the week, right? Likewise, when it came to lighting the menorah, when do you light the menorah?
Not on Shabbos.
Actually, you do light it on Shabbos. You do. Actually, you do. It's a command.
Fire there, so.
When do you light it though? In the evening, right before suns, right,
Yeah.
right before sunset,
Yeah.
right? Evening. When was this done?
Morning.
In the morning. So you needed a specific command for it because it was not in its proper time.
Okay.
Got it?
All the other-
But the incense is done, and the mincha offering, which is tomorrow. We didn't do the right, which is tomorrow. Those are done in the morning and in the afternoon. So he didn't have to have a command for that because that is the proper time to do it. So
Okay.
therefore he had to do it because it's the regular routine,
Yeah,
the regular routine.
it was already commanded.
Well,
The-
I mean, he did it already for 7 days. Remember,
Okay, yeah.
because that's the normal way to do it. Why you're going to come now on the inaugural day and not going to do it in the morning? Of course, it has to be done. Of course, he did it for 7 days already. Inaugural day for sure, it has to be done. And remember, he's doing the service in the morning.
Yeah.
Aaron's taking it over after that,
So
right?
that's why he
So
commanded-
therefore, but he doesn't need a command for that.
Yeah.
He doesn't need a
But he
command
needed
for
to
that,
light the menorah and to bring the showbreads.
huh?
He needed a command to light the menorah and bring the showbreads.
Because that's not the regular time. Yeah.
That's the only time he does that?
Yeah, that's an interesting question.
Cool.
Okay. Amazing. All right, folks. Thank you.